Today is Halloween, so for this video, we're going to be talking about 3 of my favorite things: murder, revenge, and torture. In the last theory video, we discussed how it's possible that William Afton could have survived the spring lock failure, and I highly suggest that you check out that video before continuing with this one, because this is actually a part 2 of sorts. We concluded that Cassidy's actually keeping William alive so that the resulting pain of the spring lock failure won't even end. It's the perfect torture to infinitely pain this maniac in the act of trapping him within the very machine he used to murder Cassidy. But what exactly proves Cassidy is the vengeful spirit? What makes her so vengeful in comparison to everyone else? What's the deal with the entirety of Ultimate Custom Night? That's what we'll be talking about today, where we discuss the one child that William really shouldn't have killed. Ultimate Custom Night is probably one of the most popular FNaF games, and it's actually one of my favorites. It's really cool to be able to experiment with which characters you can deal with, and gradually add more and more characters. I've never beaten 50-20 mode, but I have gotten up to 43-20 mode, and if I tried, I could probably do 45-20 mode. But outside of the great fun Ultimate Custom Night entails, it also gave us its own story. In Ultimate Custom Night, William Afton is trapped inside his own personal hell, being tormented by the spirit of a child he killed, a child who became Golden Freddy. Many of the characters reference that in their voice lines, and the mediocre melodies have a voice in the background of some of their own voice lines. These darker voice lines reference Henry trying to release William, but this vengeful spirit holding him here, forcing him to die over and over again, because as they say, they want him to see how it feels to die, and forces him to over and over and over again, never letting him leave. Those are the basics of the lore of Ultimate Custom Night. But then, there's also the question of who this vengeful spirit is. Some people believe it's Andrew due to the Stitch Wraith epilogues, but I don't think so. Back when the Survival Logbook came out, I wasn't in the FNaF community, but if I'd seen MatPat's logbook video when it first came out, I'd bet I could probably have figured out the logbook code. But the name found in the logbook was Cassidy. Graves throughout the logbook implied that the logbook, which is also littered with Golden Freddy references, was trying to answer the question of who the name on the final gravestone of FNAF 6 was. This was also explicitly said in the Freddy Files Updated Edition and the Ultimate Edition, but I don't really take those into account because they're littered with mistakes when it comes to gameplay, lore, and everything in between. So even though it gets some things right, it can't really confirm anything. But I just wanted to mention that. It also can't be that the name in the logbook was the puppet's name, because it had already been confirmed in FNAF 6 that the puppet was Henry's daughter. Henry's daughter is Charlotte, and Scott confirmed in his scrapped screenplays that Charlie exists in the games, meaning she is in fact the puppet. So Cassidy must have been Golden Freddy's name, the 5th missing child's name. So could that mean that they are also the vengeful spirit? Well, the Golden Freddy part would certainly fit, but in the past couple of years, there has been ideas thrown around that there could possibly be multiple spirits in Golden Freddy. So would it have to be Cassidy? After we found the name Cassidy in the logbook, we never really had any confirmation that that was the correct answer, until the 4th closet came out. In the 4th closet, there is a missing child named Cassidy, meaning the logbook solution was correct. The 4th closet revealed Cassidy's name for the first time, showing her alongside Fritz and Susie, 2 kids who we know to be missing children from the gravestones of FNAF 6. But the most important thing is that the 4th closet actually came out exactly 1 day before Ultimate Custom Night did, and in Ultimate Custom Night, we find the vengeful spirit. But there's more. In Security Reach, we find that the princess in Princess Quest is actually Cassidy from the files of the game. However, we also see here that the princess is colored golden, and also has a purple reflection of it. This implies that Cassidy is Golden Freddy, the purple shadow referencing how Shadow Freddy is the design of Golden Freddy, but purple. But at the end of Princess Quest 2, Old Man Consequences tells us that the quest is done and it is time to sleep. However, Cassidy doesn't go to sleep and follows through on going after William. In Ultimate Custom Night's Old Man Consequences minigame, the exact same thing happens. Old Man Consequences tells the vengeful spirit to rest as there is nothing else left, but she goes down into the lake. In this minigame, we can hear William screaming, and given that the game doesn't just end after this minigame, it seems that Ultimate Custom Night is down in the lake, and therefore William is down in the lake, and the vengeful spirit persists. This seems to imply that Cassidy is indeed the vengeful spirit, but then that also begs a few questions. First, who is Old Man Consequences? There's a few things that suggest the bite victim is involved in the Old Man Consequences scene from Ultimate Custom Night, like Foxy dunking Freddy in the lake in the Bear of Revenge cutscenes from Ultimate Custom Night, and Dreadbear, a character heavily associated with the bite victim, walking out of the red lake in Curse of Dreadbear. Hey, I got two different Easter eggs. Nice. Red skies and Dreadbear coming from the water. Make that 3.
Make that 3.
Make that 3. I really love this Easter egg of Dreadbear coming out of the water, because I remember I first saw it, and it was actually one of my first videos ever. It was,
wow.
I noticed this, I looked over, I was like, hold up, I see white or yellow glowing eyes coming from the left, coming from the water. And I was like, hold up, that's like a shape of Freddy, hold up. And then I grabbed my phone, and I started recording my TV. Yeah, I didn't know how to screen record on PS4 back then, but now I'm on PC, so. Previously, I believed that this could mean the bite victim is that Red Golden Freddy spirit from Ultimate Custom Night. But now that Princess Quest shows that it is in fact Cassidy, could it be possible that the bite victim is Old Man Consequences instead? Admittedly, it would be a little bit weird for him to be named Old Man Consequences when he's just a kid, but it does make sense in other regards. In FNaF World, we see the Fredbear plush trying to set up the piece of Happiest Day for the bite victim to put the pieces together and set everyone free. However, wouldn't it make more sense that the bite victim and Charlotte would have done this together? Because the FNaF World player isn't the bite victim. Given that we see the same red Freddy sprite in both Old Man Consequences minigames, it's safe to assume that they're the same person in both minigames, meaning that the player of FNaF World is Cassidy, and the Fredbear plush tells us that we need to help him find his way, meaning that since he's talking to us about the bite victim, that we are not the bite victim. So, what if the bite victim actually did try to set up Happiest Day, but made a fatal error? In the FNaF World game, it was going 4 glitches down and being trapped there, but in the actual FNaF universe, it could be that going 4 glitches down represents getting trapped in Golden Freddy, leading to both Old Man Consequences and the Red Bear getting stuck there together, the bite victim and Cassidy. It would explain what Old Man Consequences was doing down there. There's also some stuff in the Stitchline that belongs that could also support this idea. Inside the Stitchline are 3 people, Andrew, Jake, and William Afton. In Princess Quest, there's Cassidy, Old Man Consequences, and William Afton. Jake has multiple connections to the bite victim, and Andrew has connections to Cassidy. The Stitch Wraith's goal is to destroy all the animatronics and objects that are infected with William. Cassidy and Old Man Consequences and Princess Quest have the goal of destroying Glitch Trap, going around and killing all the pieces of Glitch Trap, and in the end removing the Glitch Trap virus from everything he infected. The goals of the Stitch Wraith and the goals of the character in Princess Quest are very similar. So if Jake represents the bite victim, that implies that the bite victim is also in Princess Quest, and it makes sense that he is Old Man Consequences. So why does that matter? Well, Cassidy in the logbook is seen being given cake by the puppet on a page talking about our happiest day, and Old Man Consequences tells Cassidy to rest in the Old Man Consequences minigame. So since the bite victim is clearly the one who receives their happiest day, it's possible that the bite victim offered Cassidy his place in happiest day, while he actually stays back and keeps William in his hell. However, Cassidy says no, and happiest day will in the future go on without Cassidy. So now, with all that out of the way, what about Andrew? Is it possible that Andrew actually is the vengeful spirit? Well, yes, but I don't believe it he is. Under Stitchline games, Andrew is very clearly the vengeful spirit. However, if Stitchline games isn't true, then it's unlikely. While it is possible that Andrew is in the games and it is the vengeful spirit, it seems more likely to me that Andrew is just a parallel to Cassidy. In Toy Chica the High School Years, we see that there are 7 victims of William, but in the FNaF World Update 2 map, there's 6 graves next to Purple Guy, implying that these are victims of William Afton, and there's a 7th grave separated, which could imply that that victim was technically a victim of William, but wasn't killed directly by him. Interestingly, the grave is kinda close, or at least closer, to Fredbear, maybe implying that this grave belongs to Golden Freddy. In the Toy Chica the High School Years, one of the death prompts parallels Midnight Motorist, implied that the Midnight Motorist kid is a victim of William.
I told him to come over later. That should be enough. And if he doesn't show up, I'll just go to his house. And if he doesn't open the door, I'll just find a window.
BB5th could be stemmed from this, but I don't think so, because if the runaway kid is the bite victim, which I strongly believe to be the case, that's not when the bite victim died. But if it is the bite victim, it makes sense that Shadow Freddy is the character outside the window, since Shadow Freddy is also an entity who's literally a being made of William's evil, and who represents him in Follow Me. Maybe Shadow Freddy and Midnight Motorist was what led to the bite victim's fear of the animatronics, the fear which is what led to Michael scaring him with Fredbear, the fear that got him killed. Basically, the 7th victim is the bite victim who wasn't killed by William directly, but was killed by a product of William's evil. He died because of William, but wasn't killed directly by him. With the FNaF World Update 2 map showing one of the 7 victims to be separated and not killed by William, it seems more likely that it's the bite victim, not Andrew, because Andrew was killed by William. In the new kid, we also see that Andrew is stuffed inside Golden Freddy, which only happens to the missing kids. Cassidy is the 5th missing kid, not Andrew, so that would imply that Andrew was just the stand-in for Cassidy. And since Princess Quest implies Cassidy was the one you should not have killed, and the Man in Room 180 showcases only one spirit as being responsible for that universe's ultimate custom night, well, that doesn't make much sense because there's only Andrew in one, and there's Cassidy in the other, meaning they can't both be there together, and so they're probably just mirrors of each other. But there is one thing that Andrew being the one you should not have killed would actually explain. The vengeful spirit is referenced as being a male, but I do actually have 2 explanations that could explain this away. First of all, the vengeful spirit's casting info says that they could work as either a young boy or a young girl. The voice ends up being feminine, but in the games they're referred to as a male. There's a possibility that Cassidy's gender wasn't decided or had just been left open-ended by this point, but the other possibility revolves around the Golden Freddy suit. See, many people, including me until recently, have believed for a long time that this explanation was kind of a cop-out. William didn't kill the Golden Freddy suit, he killed a kid. But what you have to remember is that Cassidy possesses Golden Freddy, a male animatronic. While the spirits of these kids still remain inside these suits, they basically become the animatronic they possess. They believe they are the animatronic they possess. Think of the puppet. The puppet is a male animatronic, but is possessed by a female spirit. However, in the description for the puppet in Ultimate Custom Night itself, the puppet is referred to as a male, yet has a female voice. If a male animatronic is possessed by a female, but they are still referred to as a male, why does that work in the case of the puppet, but not Golden Freddy? It very much should work in all cases. Hell, you don't even have to possess the suit to think you're an animatronic. William in the Silver Eyes is still alive inside Springtrap, yet he believes that he is literally an animatronic and calls himself Springtrap, scowling at the main characters when they called him Afton. One argument someone commented on my last video was that in FNaF 3 it said that the Springlock suits turn and walk towards sounds they hear. Springtrap does this, implying that William just possessed the suit. But in the books, he believes he literally is Springtrap, so why can't the same be happening in the games? He does what the suit does because he believes that he is the suit. Supposedly, this is all actually proved by pressure in the upcoming Tales from the Pizzaplex book Somnophobia. I haven't read the leaks, but supposedly it does prove this point, and I guess we'll find out when we make summaries on this story. So, a lot of evidence suggests that Cassidy is the one you should not have killed. But if that is the case, what makes her so vengeful? I think it's a combination of 2 things. Cassidy, like the rest of the spirits, is obviously furious that she was murdered by William. However, she was stuffed into the Golden Freddy suit. But by the time of FNaF 2, the dead bodies inside the withered animatronics have been removed by Fazbear Entertainment. In the Night 6 phone call of FNaF 2, Phone Guy says that a spare yellow suit from the back room was used to kill the Save Them victims. That night, Golden Freddy becomes active. What that means is that William used Golden Freddy to kill the Save Them kids. Cassidy could be vengeful because William literally used the suit he stuffed her into to murder her with to murder other kids, which would understandably disgust her because she possesses the suit and would have to watch through the same eye holes as William sees through, and it would make her feel like she's the one killing the kids. Therefore, she would hate William a lot more than the other kids. But there's also another option that could have made her vengeful and also could have just worked along with the other option. In the Silver Eyes trilogy, it's stated that William not only stuffed the kids into the animatronics, but him stuffing the kids is actually what kills them. Multiple things, such as Pizza Party from FNaF VR and Toy Chica the High School Years, basically confirm that William stuffed the kids. So that, coupled with the fact that Phone Guy says getting stuffed into an animatronic would kill you in FNaF 1, shows that William stuffed the kids into the suits, which is what kills them. But the difference with Golden Freddy is that he's a Springlock suit. So taking that into account, it's possible that William stuffed Cassidy into Golden Freddy and then triggered the Springlocks, killing her in a much more painful way than all the rest of the kids. Both of these things would be logical reasons for Cassidy to be vengeful. I personally think that both are the reasons, but let me know what you think down in the comments. Also, let me know what you think about the rest of the theory, and if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Happy Halloween, guys!